रेडी? ये जो टेस्ट है ये आपको 75 नंबर के नाम से मिल जाएगा, SSC CD ग्रेड, पहले 100 पे फिर 80 पे। रेडी? स्टार्ट इट। Madam Deputy Chairman, I rise to support the bill which has been moved by the Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Home Affairs. This bill incorporates certain sentiments which the country holds so dear as far as the office of President is concerned, and also incorporates the faith of the people in themselves, that when they will elect a president, the person who would be occupying the high post would be a person who would have not only the love and affection of the people, but would be, as the Honorable Minister pointed out, a dedicated politician whose whole life is dedicated to the service of the nation before he became the president. During his occupation of the office of president, and even after he retired from that office, it is this confidence of the people in themselves and the high love and affection which they hold for this office which have resulted in this particular bill being considered by the House at the present moment. The Honorable Minister has pointed out that the President who has just retired has fulfilled all the requirements which are the basis of this particular measure, and the measure which was passed in 2001. I wish that he had mentioned the last Governor General also, to whom both the measures apply. Whether we may agree or may not agree with the last Governor General on some of the political views that he holds, there can be no two opinions that the last Governor General was also an illustrious son and is an illustrious son of this country, and deserves all the consideration, all the love, and all respect of the country which are being incorporated in the present measure and were incorporated in the 2001 Act. While therefore fully supporting the measure which is now before the House, I would like certain clarifications regarding the rules that are going to be made for giving effect to the provisions which have been incorporated in the present bill. In the statement of objects and reasons, we are told that a person holding the high office of president has, even after retirement, many public calls on him, and it is therefore considered desirable to provide him with secretarial staff. It is further stated that the bill provides for a staff which may be engaged for the president. Staff might be appointed for him and office space might be provided for him. It is because of this that certain misgivings have arisen in the minds of some of the members, and they want it to be made perfectly clear that the staff will be appointed not only for the ex-president but will be appointed by the ex-president, and it will be his wishes and his desires that will be taken into account when a particular person is being appointed. Also, regarding the office which is engaged for him, his wishes should be taken into account so that he knows what would be a convenient place for him and he may try to get that place. Another reason for insisting on what I consider to be an important detail is that if the government appoints the staff for the ex-president, then automatically they become government servants because they have been appointed by the government. It may be that in the rules a clarification might be attempted whereby they may be exempted from some of the service conduct rules which are applicable to normal government servants, but even there it will be much better that this should not be left in any doubt and that these persons that are appointed to assist the ex-president in his secretarial task are appointed by the ex-president himself. They would be the staff of the ex-president and would not be appointed by the government for the ex-president and would not be government servants. This point ought to be made quite clear so that the ex-president has got all the right of determining the service conditions of the people appointed by him. Of course, subject to the overall limit which has been provided and to my mind rightly provided in the bill. Within that overall limit, perhaps it will be much better to leave the rest of the matter to the president himself so that we may also express our further confidence in the president to the effect that he would utilize it with discretion and with all sense of responsibility and fair play and taking into account the interests of the public and of the public exchequer too. Another point which also needs some clarification is regarding the payment to be made for the secretarial assistance and for the secretarial staff. Normally, government rules require that whenever any such demand is made on the public exchequer or on the consolidated fund of India, a certain formality has to be gone through, and that formality of accounting has to be in a prescribed form. Mr. Vice Chairman, first of all, I must place on record my grateful thanks to the University Grants Commission for the work that they have done for the advancement of higher education. They have done good work and in full cooperation with the Education Ministry. This, I think, must encourage state governments to establish university grants commissions or committees in their respective states. What the country needs most is the coordinated efforts of the Autonomous University Grants Commission working in harmony with the state governments and university authorities. Coordinated efforts are needed to bring about certain uniformity in the standards of university education. Without that, our educational advancement is bound to suffer from various tensions and difficulties. I do agree with my friend that the annual report under discussion is rather a dull report. At least it is not as bright as the two previous reports were. In the previous two reports, the University Grants Commission invited the attention of the nation to certain academic problems, to certain educational needs. Unfortunately, in this report, the University Grants Commission confines its remarks mostly to what has been achieved in the field of university education under the guidance and with the assistance of the University Grants Commission. 1000 प्लस वर्ड है, 100 की स्पीड है और फ्लक्चुएशन है इसके अंदर 5 से 10 वर्ड का अपसाइड 80 पे लिखेंगे। रेडी? Started. Madam, this debate on the Sarkaria Commission's report has come not too early. It has been taken up for debate after a lapse of considerable time. Nevertheless, I welcome this debate. At the present moment, the center-state relations are passing through a critical phase. Many problems and issues have come up during the last 40 years of the working of the Constitution. Many irritations and tensions have been built up between the center and the states in working the Constitution. The Home Minister, Mr. Bhutta Singh, has said that the government has got an open mind on the recommendations made by the Sarkaria Commission. I wish the government had applied an open mind and impartial mind while giving the terms of reference to the Commission. Madam, the terms of reference announced for the Commission had definitely a central bias, and the Commission itself has taken note of the terms of reference of the Commission. At the very outset, the Commission drew up a sort of format for itself on the basis of which it may make recommendations. This format influenced its thinking and its deliberations and its final recommendations. However, at another stage, in the beginning, it has made one more observation, a very important observation. It talked of a dual polity for India, but in the working of the Constitution, there was progressive erosion of state powers, and there has been and there is overriding and bypassing of states and their powers by the center. The Constitution has given three lists distributing the powers, the responsibilities, and the functions between the center and the states. There is the union list, there is the state list, and there is the concurrent list. For many years, the concurrent list has been enlarged to the disadvantage of the states. Many functions which were under the state list, which were already truncated in the original form, were taken out and put into the concurrent list. And the Commission observed that the areas which are in the concurrent lists are monopolized by the center, and to that extent, the powers of the states have been curtailed. The Commission has suggested that whenever the center wants to legislate on a subject in the concurrent list, previous concurrence of the state governments should be obtained, and it is also suggested that it should not be left to convention or practice but should be incorporated in the constitution. In other words, there should be a constitutional amendment whereby a state government should be consulted whenever the center legislates on concurrent matters. The Commission has dealt with various aspects. For instance, the appointment of governors, the powers of governors, the rights of governors. Madam, on this, the Commission has made some important recommendations. They are not very radical, but some of them are very important to ensure the autonomy of states and to rationalize the relationship between the governor and the state government. The Commission has stated that at the time of appointing governors, certain principles should be followed, certain norms should be observed. One norm could be no governor belonging to the ruling party at the center should be posted to a state which is governed by an opposition party. This is an important recommendation. The Commission also has observed that a governor, after retirement, should not take up any assignment except the assignment of the vice president or the president. The implication is the governor should not be influenced by any ulterior or selfish motives in his decisions. I go along with the Commission in respect of the conduct of the governors in dealing with the state governments. The Constitution has said that after the election is over, the governor should call the leader of the majority to form the government, that in case no majority emerges after the election, the governor should call the leader of the largest party or the leader of the coalition parties to form the government. It says whenever the majority was in doubt, the governor should go to the assembly to know whether the government of the day has a majority or does not have a majority. But the Sarkaria Commission has not commented upon the reality of the situation that obtains today. The governors are functioning as agents of the center. They are appointed in non-Congress states often from the personal drawn from the ruling party at the center. And the governors are supposed to function as the representatives of the government of the union. The governor is not an elected person. The governor is nominated by the president, virtually by the government of India. So, in reality, the governor is acting as an appendage of the center. I go along with the recommendations of the commission in this regard, but say whenever the center appoints a governor, it should look into the qualifications of the person. He should not be partisan, he should be knowledgeable in constitutional matters, and he should have necessary experience in matters of states. Such people should be appointed as governors and not the agents of the party in power. The Sarkaria Commission has also touched upon the imposition of President's rule and Governor's rule. In this matter, the Commission has taken note of certain inadequacies which have come up during the working of the Constitution during all these years. 860 वर्ड है 860 और ये आपको 75 नंबर होगा एसएससी सी एंड डी ग्रेड नंबर के नाम से। ये टिक स्पीड है, फ्लेक्सेशन 3 या 4 वर्ड अपसाइड और डाउन साइड दोनों तरफ है। सीन कंटेंट लिखेंगे इसके बाद। Ready? Started. Mr. Deputy Chairman, Sir, I extend to this resolution my wholehearted support, though I wish he had extended its scope by incorporating within it two more services, but then I cannot deal with that subject now. You have assured me that the matter will be taken up on a subsequent occasion. I do not know when that subsequent occasion is likely to occur. Sir, I am grateful to the Home Minister for some kind words he has said about me in regard to my interest in this subject. No doubt, for long, I have been urging the necessity of creating more All India services. During the last 5 years or so, ever since that recommendation on the subject was made by the States Reorganization Commission, and during the last 1 year and a half, near about that time, I have been tabling resolutions on the subject twice or thrice, but they could not come up. Of course, as they say, there are higher forces that govern the destiny of things, and so far as Parliament is concerned, it is the government and the undisputed sway of the chair that govern the destiny of resolutions. Obviously, it was so ordained that this resolution should come up only now, and that too as a government sponsored resolution. Even as it is, I welcome it most heartily and feel enthusiastic and even jubilant about it. Sir, I sincerely congratulate the Honorable the Home Minister for the tact, the firmness, the strength, and the determination which he has shown in overcoming all the obstacles and difficulties which I am sure were there in his way. The opposition and unwillingness of the states were there initially, I know. And I also know, sir, that about a year ago, when I tabled a question on this subject, the then Home Minister told us that the government would be only too glad to have more All India services, but then the handicap in their way was that the states were not agreeable to it. Subsequent to that, sir, about the middle of this year, I wrote to all the chief ministers requesting them to let me know their views on this subject. And I was a little unhappy to find that no chief minister replied to me saying that he was agreeable to it. One or two of them especially said that they were against it. So, all these difficulties were there in the way of the Home Minister. But I find that by his sweet persuasion, he has been able to win over all the chief ministers who, in the conference immediately preceding the last one, agreed to it in principle. And in the subsequent conference, they agreed to it. It appears obviously in toto, and hence we have before us this resolution supported by the chief ministers of all the states. Sir, for that I want to congratulate most sincerely and heartily the Honorable the Home Minister. Now, sir, so far as the merits of this resolution are concerned, I do not think it is necessary for me to elaborate on them because during the last 4 years or so, ever since the publication of the report of the States Reorganization Commission, many eminent men all over the country, eminent administrators and persons who had experience of administration, including the retired comptroller and auditor general, were of the opinion that more All India services should be created. Our Honorable the Prime Minister, as also our Vice President, have on more than one occasion expressed themselves definitely in favor of having more All India services. Last year, sir, about the month of October, when addressing the Indian Police Service officers when they were going out after having had their training for a year, he expressly said that if national integration was to be maintained, it was necessary to have more all India services. That being so, I think there is not much need for us to emphasize the necessity and the utility for having more all India services. Sir, in the interest of efficiency and also in the interest of integrity, it is absolutely necessary that we should have these three all India services and also some others. The major problem these days before us is that successful implementation of the development programs has to be carried through. It is not enough that we should have big schemes. It is not enough that we should allocate large sums for the implementation of those schemes, but it is necessary that we should have competent personnel to effectively implement our schemes so that in a short time we may be able to carry forward our country to economic prosperity all round. In the past, during the pre-independence period, we had quite a number of all India services, but then when we framed our constitution, we dispensed with the others, retaining only two. It appears to me that necessity has now arisen for reorganization of the all India services and to have more all India services. ये आपको विद कोमा और नो कोमा दोनों तरह से मिल जाएगा आपको। ये केसी सोर्स है, 20 नंबर है। आप चाहो तो विद कोमा भी टाइप कर सकते हो, विदाउट कोमा भी, नो कोमा वाली फाइल भी टाइप कर सकते हो। स्पीड 80 की है, फ्लेक्सेशन 3 या 4 वर्ड अप साइड में है।